Hello, this is Dean Phoenix, and we are at a very fun part of our playthrough where we are going to be doing the monster arena. We need to beat all of those creations in order for us to be able to basically fight the Dark Aeons after that, but you need to have beaten every creation in order to beat Nemesis. So there's a few things that we want to do to set up for the Dark Aeons. Now, one of the things that I think is pretty cool that there are a few applications for, but not everybody uses, is an overdrive mode called Sufferer. So Sufferer is pretty cool. It gives the same amount, it basically gives the same amount of overdrive, 16% per turn. So it takes 3 turns to get full overdrive with that mode. And with high luck, you can still hit things with darkness. So instead, you can inflict darkness on yourself with a smoke bomb. And then after you've done that, you can basically have that Sufferer overdrive. It's similar, not quite as good, similar to Loner. But you can have it on all 3 characters at once. There's a couple of applications. I'm going to be showing a few things that are quite useful with that. So first things first, just going to get everybody with auto haste. I'm going to put a Flan to sleep, and we're going to learn it just by chucking dream bombs at each other. So this is how we're going to do it. Now Riku will have to just change her armor, so I need her to have that first, which I did forget to do. So I might have to wake everybody up and then just start it again. Okay. So there you go. Waka had already had a bunch of turns on that already, because it's the same way that I learned Loner with him. So every turn he's asleep, it counts as being Sufferer. So that's what we're going to do there. And just carry on doing the same thing with Tidus, Riku, blah blah blah. So all these turns, they count as being asleep. And just going to keep chucking these. And this stops you from having to mash triangle a load. And doing it against a Flan obviously is good because the Flans are very slow anyway, and I've slowed it down. And on top of that, it's now asleep, so every time it does finally get to a turn, it'll not be getting the actual turn itself. So we're just going to go through this. Some of the other things we've got to do, we've got to sort out some of our potions, high potions and all that kind of thing. We want to get rid of those because in the fights against Dark Yojimbo and Penance, we use a different armor and we use auto potion, and we want to either use trio of 999 with the normal potions or just have 99x potions, which is the way I'm going to do it. So, you should easily be able to defeat Penance doing that, so it shouldn't be a problem. 99 is generally enough of them, so I'm just going to get that sorted. Just heal up here, might as well. So Yuna's learned Ally, that's from having enough turns. We go back to using Dream Powders just until everybody's learned Sufferer. So it takes about 3 or 4 minutes usually, because you do whiz through a ton of turns like really quickly. But obviously the Dream Powders hurt you a very little bit, so you just have to be aware of that. Alright, I'll just pray a couple of times, stop that up. And then we're just waiting for Sufferer to be learned. Shouldn't take too much longer now. They're a little bit out of sync because Riku had the ribbon armor on initially, which is a bit of a pain, but I get it. This is why it's a good idea to steal some Dream Powders if you want to use this kind of method, because it's so much quicker than anything else you can do. Like, you could do Darkness or Silence or whatever, and or Slow, and then you know, mash turns, but that takes ages. So right, okay, so there's Tidus all sorted. He's got Sufferer. And these turns are counting for Yuna, but I'm not sure how many total turns she needs, so it's not, if she doesn't get it, it's not a big deal. I'll just escape with her. So she has some turns counting towards it, but I don't need them. I don't really need her to have Grand Summon at this point. And Tidus has learnt it already, so we're okay there. So just let Riku skip through this until she's got Sufferer as well. A couple more of these dream powders should be enough to seal it, I would think. So yeah, I was going to do this off stream, but I thought it's a good way of showing how you do it. So you can see on the CTV bar all the turns that she gets there. There you go. Okay, so that's that. Whoopsie. Okay, so for the monster arena, we can go with Sufferer or something similar. Or you can go with Victor and all the normal stuff. So I think for the most part, I'll just use Victor, and then for the later creations, we'll change so that I can use a couple of overdrives if I want, because some of the fights, although very easy because of how strong we are, can be irritating as well. So right, let's just sort these out. So you always want to make sure you've got 100 Phoenix Downs. We want to sell all of our potions and high potions. Now there's a couple other things you want to make sure that we get. You want to make sure that we have a ton of X potions, as we said before, and you get those from Valaha. So we're going to bribe Valaha for a ton of X potions. You don't have to be frugal with the gil because we've got so much of it, so I'll just bribe slightly over the sort of 160 odd K that you normally would. Just try and guarantee that I get the 50 odd X potions I need for 100. Okay, so that was close enough. And then we could also do with some healing waters, and you get those from these anacondas. So we'll bribe a few of these as well. Don't need this gil for anything else because I've already made my armors that I need for the 4 characters that I'll be using. So I'm just going to bribe a few of these and get a lot of healing waters as well, as they're very useful. You can also steal these from Adamantoise if you wanted to do that, which is obviously much cheaper but takes a lot longer. So whilst I've got the gil, we'll just go with this. Just bribe 3 or 4 of these. Had about 20 or so healing waters already, so just get up to like 70 or 80. So this will be X potions and healing waters all sorted. We also need some healing springs, so we'll do that by killing Kotos as we go through. And you see we've still got 1.6 million gil if we really needed anything else. And then we'll have a quick look at the other weapons and setups that we want. Right, so there's our healing waters. How many X potions do we have? 95, that's fine. Right, so that's our items all sorted. So the other thing I want to do is make sure that I have the items available for Riku's best mixes and that they are at the top of the inventory. So there are a couple of things that we want for these. We want Gambler's Spirits. We don't need Turbo Ethers, so we can get rid of those. Albed Potions go into some good ones. Healing Springs are really important. They are 2 of those make Hypernull All, and a Gambler Spirit and a Healing Spring also makes Hyper Mighty G, if I recall correctly. Don't need regular Ethers because they're a bit rubbish. 3 stars and Albed Potions go into a full revive and full heal, which is really good. Mega Potions and we'll use. Mega Potions and Elixirs we'll use as well. No. What else is it? There's a couple of those that we do need, so for the mixes. So we can get Eccentric with these 2 mixed together. These 2, Albed Potion and 3 stars, makes Final Elixir. Or an Albed Potion and a Gambler's Spirit make a Super Elixir instead, which doesn't revive but has all the other effects as well. And then Trio of 999 we can get with these also, so that's 2 Gambler Spirit together will make Trio of 999. So we've got everything that we really need there. Healing Spring, 3 stars, Albed Potions, Gambler Spirit, Underdog Secrets. Now you can use Daughter Tomorrow as well if you want, but it's not really necessary. We've got our Mega Elixirs and Mega Potions. We can use these with Trio of 999 and then Quick Pockets, so those are very good. Got our X potions there so we can keep track of how many we've got. We need to stock up on Phoenix Downs, obviously as well. And then there is the healing water that we just bribed for. So these are all the items that we're going to be using, and these are the things that we're going to use for mixes. Okay, so we've got a load of stuff there that's very useful, and just put that towards the top, so we don't have to spend ages getting lost and trying to remember what we need in the menu and everything else like that. So for fighting the Dark Aeons, Auto Phoenix is very important. So you need to, max out on those as well. So I've got everything sorted there. Now for gear, the main characters that we're going to be using are Yuna, Waka, and Tidus. Nope, Riku, Tidus, and Waka, beg your pardon. So they have all got their proper weapons. So we've got Colored Bolg, God Hand, so they've got their Celestials. So does Yuna, so she has Nirvana, she's our other character as a backup, and she summons the Aeons, which we'll need for some of the Dark Aeon fights. So the characters all have Stoneproof, Auto Haste, Auto Phoenix, and Auto Protect armors, apart from Riku. Now Riku has a Ribbon, which is very important versus Dark Anima and the Dark Mage's Sisters for their Mega Graviton and Terra Graviton attacks. Because she'll be able to withstand that and then heal up the rest of the party. And she can, with the reason of giving it Riku is she can do it with either items or with mixes. So she has mixes that can do that a little more conveniently in some cases. There are the other characters, and then for fighting the Penance, we'll have different armors again. So Penance and Dark Yojimbo will use Auto Potion, Auto Protect, Defense plus 20, and Auto Haste. Riku, Tidus, and Waka all have that as well. Now for the other characters, you've got a First Strike weapon for all of them, and Initiative as well. And what that does is that makes sure that we don't get ambushed, and also you can use those three characters and then get more turns by switching to the characters we're actually going to be using at the start of some of the more difficult Dark Aeon fights. That is actually the way you get the most turns at the start of a fight. So even if you have First Strike with one character and then switch to your other character, you still get the benefit of that First Strike. So that's why we've got that there. Last thing we want to do is just put an Encounter None on one of the armors for the First Strike backup characters, just so that we don't have to bother with the random battles there. Right, now let me just have a quick check. I believe that is everything. I just want to check through that the sound's coming through on that as well. Let's have a look. And then if we have, we will just check the checklist that I've made, just check we've got everything we've covered there. And then if we have. Okay, just waiting on that. Right, so let me check. We've got all the potions and everything sorted. We'll be defeating Kotos for healing springs, because normally we just kill it for the spheres by using Distill. We've got our armors for the Dark Aeons, our armors for Penance and Dark Yojimbo, First Strike Initiative weapons, and we've reorganized the inventory and learnt Sufferer. So what we need to do now is just unlock Nemesis, and the way we do that is by beating all of the creations that we haven't done already. Now you can, for more of a challenge, yeah, good start. You can, for more of a challenge, try and take these things on when you're much lower levels before you do all the grinding, but I wasn't fussed about doing that this time, so not going to bother. We have already completely maxed everything as far as we need to, and before we do take on Nemesis or any of the, if we need to go back for a couple of things, I'll make sure that I show the stats at some point as well. So Marlborough Menace shows off why, similar reason as to why we need Riku to have Ribbon, and that's because it allows one person to be immune from all the status effects and then heal up the other characters. So as you can see here, you can just use Quick Pockets and Remedies to heal the other characters, and as long as two of them are all healed up, and they all have Auto Phoenix, then your own party can't kill itself or anything like that, which is very useful. You could, if you wanted, while you're going through these, mug them as well, So I've just got my remedies back there as well, obviously. But it's not really necessary, although a couple of them do have useful things. So there's Marlborough down. So when you're this strong, when you're this powerful, and you're set up for the Dark Aeons, obviously everything that you would be facing here are extremely easy. And you can just use overdrives purely for convenience. So here, because Koto's counter attacks every time, I can't be bothered with that, so I'll just take them down anyway. So that's purely not because overdrives are necessary there, just because I can't be bothered with counter attack animations. So I'll do that against a couple of the enemies as well. Things like Vorban, I like that too. So might as well max out our healing springs while we're here, because you get 40 per win. So we'll have a look at that. And that's why we just can't be bothered with that kind of thing. Might as well just get the hits in now. Get Tidus's overdrive back. And down he goes. Right, so there's our healing springs all sorted. Colgina's next. Get all your health back there. And like I say, you can just mug these things if you really want. Get various types of items. Some of them are decent, some of them not so, it doesn't really matter about. Jormungand is the serpent basilisk type creature. Again, nothing major. Steel petrify grenades. Not that we really need any anymore. And as you can see, all of these things go down tremendously easily because my agility is so high and my strength is so high. So if you want them to be a challenge, do them way earlier in the process than I am doing. Again, few things have counter attacks, I can't really be bothered with those, so just use a multi-hitting overdrive to kill those. Cactuar always counters with 10,000 needles, which kills. So rather than have a character take damage, might as well just use the overdrive whilst we're on Victor. That's where you get blessed gems for the defense plus 20% armor. So when you want to make your penance armors, auto haste, auto protect, auto potion, those are blessed gems you get for the defense plus 20. You get those from Quacktar King. So I didn't need to do that because this thing only has 270k health, so those 4 hits would have been absolutely fine. But again, just doing that against the Spada because even though it's very low health, it has counter attacks. Although I believe I probably would have avoided them actually in retrospect, because my characters have high evasion on top of very high luck. Not really necessary, but with the Victor Overdrive it makes no difference anyway. Shadow gems from this thing if you need them. Although having done capturing at this point, all I really use shadow gems for is the black hole, which is a fantastic overdrive for capturing and for normal fighting in general. Chimera Geist obviously I've destroyed many times. Don Tombre I have actually beaten as well. And again, we're just going to take him out with an overdrive to prevent karma. I think I have actually beaten Don Tombre as well as just running away from it, but chop its stupid little head off because revenge, my version of karma, for all the many times in Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and everything else that it causes immense amount of problems by generally being a pain in the neck. Catobla Pass, he actually will use powerful magic, like he has an Ultima counterattack, but because we have 255 magic defense, we have very, very high level there, so it really doesn't matter. So we'll kill this, it'll counter with Ultima, and you see the very small amount of damage it'll do. Just have a look at that. That's another one bites the dust. 3 stars from that if you did want to stock up on those again. Although you get plenty of 3 stars. You get 60 for capturing when you unlock Earth Eater, and I think it's Earth Eater. And you get 60 for the Chocobo Temple Racing, so you have 120 in total. So you can even get one set of 60, put 1 MP cost on a weapon, and then get the other set of 60 and still have 99, so that's absolutely tons. Beat Abaddon there. Now, Vauban, I'll just show Vauban is the Barbatos type monster. Not even a different colour, which is kind of lame. But unlike Barbatos, where if you hit Barbatos with armor break, it'll counter attack. With Vauban, it'll actually counter any regular attack like that with it instead. So what you want to do is you want to use Mug just to avoid that counter attack, because Mug is a skill, not a regular attack. Sometimes it can still counter with Mortar, but I'm not sure what the rules are on that, but it's less often anyway. But we're just going to ignore that. Why is Waka's Overdrive not restocking? Is he not on Victor? Well, that's a good place to pause anyway, because that's all the arena creations stopped, taken down, so they took about 15 minutes. Let's see. Oh, Dark Matter's very good. Not going to get enough Dark Matter for another ribbon armor. We've only got 60 there. It's not worth grinding the other 39 that we need. Let's see. Waka's still on Comrade, that's why. Everybody else back to Victor, yeah. I'd changed Yuna, not Waka. Okay. So that's all of these defeated. We've beaten Chimera Geist when we very first got there. So now we just want to beat the rest of these. So we have beat Fenrir for Agility Spheres already. Ornitholestes, you get Gambler's Spirit for beating, so we've never had a cause to try and beat this before. Could steal a rename card if you really wanted. So as you can see, we just deal immense amount of damage, 9 hits, and this thing's gone because it has 800k HP. Down it goes. So we've beaten a lot of these species creations already. We've beaten Terex. I'm not sure how I'm even bothering fighting this thing because I've already upped my evasion, so I've beaten this with the evasion spheres already. But it only has 99k HP anyway, so just a matter of 2 hits. Now I haven't raised my accuracy because the way that accuracy and luck works with having 114 luck, which is what we've got. The only Dark Aeons that we won't be able to consistently hit are Dark Mindy and Dark Sandy, so we can work around that with Ultra Null All and Overdrives. So it's not worth me grinding 40 plus accuracy spheres to get 255 accuracy just to hit Dark Sandy, because it wouldn't make a difference against Dark Mindy anyway. So it's literally for one enemy and it's not necessary. But I just have high enough luck to be able to do that. So with Atu, he is the MP sphere monster, but there's enough on the grid that we have 999 anyway. And break MP limit is a complete waste of an ability. One Eye we've destroyed a million times. Jumbo Flan we've done already as well. Now this thing is a pain in the neck because it counters stuff with Ultima. I think it's all overdrives and hits it counters with Ultima, which is just annoying. So instead, even though it's not going to do any damage, what we're going to do is kill this with overdrives. So unlike Jumbo Flan, it's not quite as resistant as to some types of damage. as jumbo flanners, so might as well just heal up that little bit, and then purely for time and convenience, we'll just attack reels it. So down it goes. It's going to take one more hit then. Wow, that's a lot of HP, so that's 1.3 million then, because I had one hit from Tidus and 12 hits from attack reels, so that's actually a pretty solid amount that's being hit for there. Well, it'll go down now. So that's Nega Elemental. Tank it, we've destroyed a million times. Fafnir we've actually beaten already, now that I think about it, because this is the enemy that you defeat for light curtains. But again, it's not a tricky one, so let's just see what you can steal from this. I think it's curtains, lunar curtains, or... Alright, okay. So. If you ever do find yourself wanting to get the MP back at no cost, you can use Osmos, or you can just lance it like that. And I'm able to take down that before we even get to its first turn as well, so there's Fafnir. So even a million and so HP gets ripped off extremely easily by such a strong party. So Sleep Sprout, we've beaten him multiple times already. This is Bomb King. And I believe after it swells up, it starts using counterattacks. Or maybe it's when it reaches its max size. So, just be a little bit wary with those. And you can get Door for Tomorrow for those if you need. Juggernaut we already defeated many times at the start of the stat maxing process. And so this is a very annoying monster because it's so heavily armoured, but what you can do is you can use a break on it. So we're just going to mix 2 power spheres, and that will inflict armour break on it, and then we will rip off its health with overdrives. So after armour break, which start overdrive of Riku's with frag grenade, which is 2 mixed power spheres or regular spheres, like mana spheres or anything else. These overdrives will do enormous damage, so that we're able to just beat it using those. So this thing has 2 million HP, so it takes that tiny bit from frag grenade, and then you need 20 hits. 999. So best way of doing that is the 9 from Blitz Ace and the 12 from attack reels. Or substitute Oblivion in place of attack rules. I think that should die anyway, because it's still 20 hits. Yeah. Ha! So you get the overkill without the damage, because I missed that last hit. Always fun. And that is where you would get HP spheres. So if you ever do a break HP limit playthrough, you're in for a lot of those. Earth Eater and Greater Sphere we've already destroyed many times. So there's a couple of other monsters here that we want to be using overdrives on, again purely for convenience. So this mercifully is not one of them. If you ever want to stock up on Gambler's Spirit, then the normal steal from everything in this tier of the Monster Arena are Gambler's Spirit. So you get 99 from capturing. You don't need SOS overdrive, so it should never be a problem. But you can steal some while you're here if you really want. And these things start having so much HP that I might I'll very soon be resorting to quick hit and overdrives instead, just to make things go a little quicker. Okay, so Catastrophe gets 1 turn. But didn't really do him a lot. other than inflict breaks, and it's going to die very soon anyway, so. Now that will restock the overdrives for Victor, which is very useful because the next enemy is a pain in the neck because it counters every single attack because it's irritating. So that's Thuban. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to switch to the Sufferer Overdrive mode for some of this. Now actually I'm going to do them very slightly out of order and then switch to Sufferer. And there is a reason for this. Nislug is a pain in the neck. So after you do 2 million damage to this thing, it retreats into its shell and gets a massive amount of health back from regen, and you can't hurt it with physical attacks. So you have to beat it down with magic, which takes ages and is just a pain in the neck, if I'm perfectly honest. So you can do it that way, or if you wanted, you can be super cheap like I'm going to do. So time to go, escargot. I love that. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to quick hit the hell out of this until we have used 20 attacks, and that is just shy of 2 million damage. So let's just count these out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 17. Let's get this done. 17, 18, 19. Right, so this should be 20 hits if I counted correctly. So it gets one turn. Right, so now this thing's taken 20 hits, which is 1,999,988 damage. So just shy of 100,000. So you have to do a million damage to it to shatter the shell, and it's getting regen back all the time. But if you can deal a 12 hit attack reels so that it's 1.2 million damage, that goes straight past the phase where you would hit it in the shell. So if I hit this, this should do 1.2 million damage, and instead of retreating into the shell, it'll have taken over 3 million damage, and the shell will shatter straight away, so I can just carry on killing it, which is way more convenient. So if Naslug's annoying you and you have attack reels with the world champion, that's how you do it. Tons of fun. Now we're on Victor Overdrive mode, so I'm just going to not that bothered about those items, so we're just going to use eccentric so that everybody gets their overdrive back at the end of the fight as well. Because I would prefer to have my overdrive back for when I fight Thuban, because it's a pain in the neck and it counters everything, and I just want to use as few turns as possible. Blitzace is a lot harder to hit that last hit on, which is kind of annoying, but at least we kill it like that. So there's the super cheap, super easy way of beating Nislug if you can't be bothered with its shell phase. 20 hits, attack reels, and then just finish it off however you want. That's the coolest enemy in the Monster Arena in my opinion, just because it has such good little mechanics and it was, you know, a unique enemy. And we get a interesting one from that as well. Right, so now we've got Thuban. And Thuban is annoying as well. He's got a ton of HP. But not too fussed about that. So it just counters every single thing like this, which is really annoying. So you can take it down, but it's very irritating. Anyway, so we're just going to, again, try and make as short work of this as possible, using overdrives. Getting a ton of hits. So it has 3 million HP. So these overdrives, if I hit the end of Blitzace, should deal most of the hits that we need from it. It's assuming that we hit attack rails afterwards. Alright, so that's 1.2 done, 1.2 million dealt, and Tidus's is 900k, so that's 2.1 million already. And then the few hits that we've got in as well. I mean, it won't take us too long to actually finish this thing off. So. But yeah, this is why this one's kind of annoying. Again, no big deal. I could entrust back to Waka or Tidus and finish it off, but no real need. Should go down pretty quickly now. I think it's 3 million it's got. It might be 4. I'm pretty sure it's 3 though. So should only be the overdrives and then 9 hits, which means it should be finished off before it gets a turn. There we go. Down it goes. No ending animation for that, oddly. Very strange. Shinryu is the exact same thing. It's underwater and it's extremely annoying. Just going to get our overdrives back for this as well. Might as well. So again, you could quick hit this thing if you really wanted, but it counters every single thing with an attack. And again, it just takes more time than it's worth, so yeah. No, thank you. Go away, irritating beast. So an attack reels and slice and dice, so Blitz will take this thing out. You need 1 or 2 extra hits with slice and dice, because that's 6 hits and 12, whereas it actually takes 18 in total. But Blitz Ace and attack reels will just take it out entirely. And again, if you're stealing from this thing, you steal Gambler's Spirit just to restock on those if you're using them for overdrives and things like that. Okay, so that's where you get Wings to Discovery if you wanted to make break HP armor. So I've got Ultima Buster to take out now, and this is one of the things where I'm just going to show the Sufferer Overdrive mode because it is kind of fun. So what you can do with the Sufferer Overdrive mode is you can inflict darkness or silence or poison or something on yourself. Now, if you have enough luck, darkness is by far the best way to go, because it's very useful, and the reason that it is so useful is let me just have a look. Now, I don't want Riku to be using I don't really want Riku to be using her auto potion. I couldn't remember what the word was then. Auto potion armor, because she'll keep healing herself when I inflict dark on her. So I'm just going to leave her with ribbon, so she'll not have her overdrives for this one, but it doesn't really matter. I suppose what we could do with Reek's actually is we'll just get hers back first. Ah, she's got full already, so Riku's got full overdrive. So what we'll do, we'll see here. No point her having Sufferer yet. Right, so because she has ribbon on her armor, so we can't inflict her with darkness. But what you can do is you can Ultima Buster has 5 million HP. It's a massive pain in the neck. So you need to take out all this kind of stuff first. And what you can do is Riku can use her overdrive first, and this is why Sufferer is so cool. So let's say that we mix Eccentric, which doubles your overdrive gauge. So now Tidus and Waka get twice as much overdrive as they would normally. So just going to take out all these. And then what we'll do is, just going to mug here. And then we're going to use a smoke bomb. Now, watch what happens. You use a smoke bomb on your own party. Riku will be immune. And the other two will have darkness. And then what that means is that when they are getting their attacks, their turns, they're getting double overdrive from Sufferer. So they just get overdrive every 2 turns. And so you can basically just keep spamming slice and dice and attack reels, which is pretty fun. Riku just gets the odd turn in here and there. Deal a ton of damage very, very quickly. It's very similar to having Lona, but it's for like all the characters, which is quite fun. And as you can see, just get an absolute ton of overdrive gauge every time. If you're wondering where I got this from, I didn't get it from anywhere. I actually came up with this myself. I was trying to find a better strategy for Nemesis now that Quick Hit is a rank 2 action. But it's a little more hassle than it's worth against Nemesis a lot of the time. Because you have to be so careful with Nemesis and its attacks. So yeah, it's still quite cool though. Now darkness will wear off after a couple of turns, so you may occasionally have to throw a smoke bomb again. But as you can see, you can really pile up damage very, very quickly. Now this thing uses Ultima, but it's not really that much of a problem because we have such high magic defense. And because Riku's not getting her overdrive because she has ribbon, so she's immune to darkness, she can just use Prey or Healing Waters or Mega Potions or any of that. So, yeah. So bearing in mind this thing has 5 million HP. I've already ripped off 3 million of it just with Waka's attack reels alone. And so with Slice and Dice it will go down very, very shortly. Might go down after this attack reels actually, but yeah, there you go. So, how cool is that? Pretty cool. So for Nemesis you can do the same thing. And that's the amazing thing about if you're able to beat it, you can actually get the perfect weapon. So there's Blowout that I made for Waka, triple AP, triple overdrive, and overdrive to AP. You can actually get those weapons as a direct drop if you're lucky, but you can't really rely on it. So that's why I, don't do it normally. So, but yeah, so that is that's how you do that. So this is Nemesis. You get 10 Master Spheres there. Not going to fight it for free just yet. So I just want to sort out a few things there. So Riku's still on Victor, I believe, so just get that sorted again. Just get Tidus and Waka their overdrive gauges. Oh yeah, Riku's is already full again. Alright, yeah, cool. That's alright. Because she had Eccentric and Victor. Alright. Now, I must confess, I haven't fought Nemesis for ages, so there's a reasonable chance that I forget some stuff. So we'll have to have a look. And I may well actually lose, even though I've got a really, really powerful party, because I'll just forget things. I always do with Nemesis. Like, I can never keep track of its Armageddon because it has like a hidden counter. And it's just a pain in the neck, basically. So, but never mind. You've always got a few things available there, so let's have a look. So we'll stick with Sufferer for Tidus and Waka. We'll see how this goes. You don't want to steal from Nemesis because it counters with amazingly powerful Ultima if you use those commands on it. So if you want to steal from it, and I would recommend that you do steal because it has some pretty wicked stuff, then you steal from it with Mug. So that was actually its rare steal there, which is pretty cool. Warp spheres. Right, so I love using Eccentric, it's really cool. So we're just going to use that again. And then we're just going to start spamming attack reels and slice and dice again. I don't use Blitz Ace because it's lower rank than Slice and Dice, so I think over time you do get more hits in with Slice and Dice. Plus it's easier to just hit the timing on the end of it, so this is why it doesn't take a lot shorter time for Nemesis if you're using these overdrives, because it counters overdrives with Ultima as well. And it does tons of damage like that, which is a real pain in the neck, so you just have to be real careful with Nemesis. You're going to be doing that kind of thing. But there's a ton of other good ways you can hit it. So you can use quick hit, which is always useful. Riku can make some other really good mixes together. So I would normally go with Gambler Spirit and a Healing Spring as well, which is Hyper Mighty G. And then you can just quick hit it a bunch of times as well. So it has Ethereal Cannon, which should do massive damage to one character. And it has the really nasty attack where it spreads its wings out. I can't remember what that's called, but it is really bad. Let's have a look. I don't think you can guard this, but we'll have to see. Yeah, so Ethereal Cannon knocks out one of your characters basically, which is a pain in the neck. And then it's got the other one that it'll do next. Ultra Spark, I think that's it. So it'll do Ultra Spark very soon as well. I'm just going to quickly throw one of these smoke bombs. It'll knock Riku out again, but we've got Auto Phoenix, so that'll pick her up. Ah, it didn't even knock her out, so that's alright. Just to get Waka back his overdrive. And then this is going to be Ultra Spark, so we'll just take this with an Aeon. Might as well use the Major Sisters, because they can get a hit in. And you might get Mindy to do Pasado, depends on what order of turns they're going to get. But yeah, they might actually be able to take this attack, because they've got so much health, so... We'll see. But Ultra Spark is nasty. And it inflicts Curse as well, which is like really irritating. Yeah, so there you go. Take a ton of damage. But at least they can deal some good damage back to him as well. Yeah, I'll just get my regular party back. Away they go. So Yuna takes a hell of a lot of damage there, but never mind. Just going to quick hit until Yuna's out. I think I should have one more attack before... I should be able to have one more attack before... What's the word? I always do that. I'll have one more attack before Nemesis uses Armageddon, I think. Depends on its counter, but that's why I have auto life just in case. Very easy to lose track. And Riku has Comrade, so should be able to take these 2 hits of Ultima. Because we have Shell. So even with 255 magic defense, it takes a phenomenal amount of damage. You take a phenomenal amount of damage from Ultima. So much better to make sure that you do have Shell before you do that. And as you can see, Riku's already there. Oops, messed that up. Not really worth the hit from Ultima, but never mind. So Tidus and Waka should survive this Ultima. It may kill Riku. I don't think it will though, because she took about what, 2.5? 2,500, so she should be alright. And then even if Nemesis uses Armageddon, Auto Life should bring Waka and Tidus back. I hope. So it's just got Ethereal Cannon again. Now he will be getting close to using Armageddon now from the turns that he's had. So we'll just get a few more hits in. Could use an overdrive again, which I think I will. So if you have break HP limit, you can actually survive a lot of these attacks apart from Armageddon. But it depends on, you know, how much HP you have. If you have 99k, you can survive everything apart from Armageddon. So again, Tidus should survive this. And if not, he's got Auto Life. Should revive the other two. Okay, so just get a bit of overdrive back again. It does have a ton of HP, and it is a little simpler to just, you know, quick hit the beggar, but never mind. There's Ultra Spark. Must be getting close to using Armageddon now. I think I'll summon an Aeon next time because there'll probably be that coming. All right. Couple of uses of quick hit in. You can just keep making sure that you've got auto life, just in case you mess anything up. Grand Summon Anima. Just to get Oblivion in. Now, like I say, I'm not properly counting Armageddon, I'm just sort of guessing when it's coming, so I'll just see how much damage that does. That rips off a clean 479, which is pretty good. Counters with Ultima, which Anima will survive because it has 255 magic defense as well. And all that HP. There's a normal attack. There you go. Right, so just about worked that out. Knew it was roughly going to be that. And Armageddon, which looks suspiciously like Nova, or Nova looks like Armageddon, whichever way you want it. Does a clean 100k. Yikes. Yikes. So yeah. Ouchville, population you, bro. Nasty. Right, so just going to get a few quick hits in. Get Waka back. And use another healing water. Oof. Ow. Alright. I'll just get one or two more overdrives in. As you can see, because Tidus and Waka actually got knocked out, they've lost their double overdrive, so it's taken one or two more turns. Not many, but just one or two more. So it's every 3 turns they get overdrive with that. Now, unfortunately, with Ultra Spark again, we've got auto life. Tidus and Waka. Do we have full life? We do. That'll allow Waka to get his overdrive back, and then we'll just use a couple of those hits for that. I just want to heal up first, see if we can survive. Because if I can survive that, if the next attack doesn't hit Waka, then yeah. So if you can survive that, then get the counter, get a couple of quick hits in, and then before Ethereal Cannon I'll be able to use the overdrive again. Attack reels is so busted, it's ridiculous. This is why it's worth doing that grind for Waka. Tons of fun. Probably does just take less time to quick hit over and over and over and over again. And just summon, shield everything with the Aeons, but that's no fun. Who is Ethereal Cannon going to target? That hits Riku, but she survives, so that's good. Okay. So this will kill Riku, but then she'll get revived from auto life. And then the boys will still have auto life anyway, so it's still okay. I think because we've got Ultra Spark coming, I'll just actually summon again for this. Just to let them take an Ultra Spark. Oh, she's actually going to auto-life them, so that's quite funny. They'll be able to take a couple of attacks instead. Back she comes. Lose track of Nemesis attack sometimes. I thought it was going to do Ultra Spark then, but it's got attack in between. Do Pasado. At least you deal some good damage to it with that. Alright, so that's Ultra Spark. Ow. Yeah, there you go. That's what we like. Pretty good amount of damage there. Now actually the problem here is building back up to Pasado, which is a bit of a problem, but at least we've taken the, not Pasado, Armageddon, but we should be alright. I'll just make sure that we have auto life up and should be able to finish things off now. Got in a solid hit with Pasado there that does a good chunk of damage. A few more hits besides. So Yuna's next turn, we need to get her out, obviously. So yeah, that's why Sulphur is not quite as good against Nemesis, because you have to deal with the Ultimas and it does significant damage. So, still kind of cool though. And down goes Nemi. So, there's your 10 million health. And all of the arena creations and everything else defeated in just about an hour. Which is, you know, all well and good. There's a couple of the things I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fully fight Nemesis again there. Now that I've beaten him once, but there's a couple of the things that you can do. A few warp spheres there. Ooh. Crazy. Fantastic. So there's Mark of Conquest. And everything's sorted. Very ungrateful little chap, isn't he? Anyway. So, yeah. Now, one of the other things that you want to do with Nemesis, because he costs 25,000 gil per fight, you can get level 4 key spheres by mugging from him. And that is actually the cheapest source of them, because it costs more to bribe Chimera Brain for that than anything else. So, now the other thing you just want to do is, if you haven't already, you want to lance it from Nova. But you don't have to defeat him to do that, you can just lance it and then run away. I think I'm actually still missing an overdrive for Kimahri, but I'll need to have a check. So if you want to steal key spheres and things like that, that's the best way to do it. Level 4 key spheres, just mug from Nemesis with a normal steal. Right, so just stock up on those again. And that, I believe, is all of Kimahri's overdrives. So, that's cool. Now, fighting the Dark Aeons again, you can use Sufferer, or you can just use Comrade for most of them. I'll go with Comrade. In fact, for now, we'll just get them back with Victor first. So we can be okay there. Go back to the old staple of defeating Sleep Sprout. And that's everything all done for the arena. So, on to the Dark Aeons next. Now, the easy Dark Aeons don't take that long at all. So, aside from like running round to them and all that kind of stuff. So, I'll have a crack at doing most of these together. Yojimbo's like difficult-ish, but not especially. So, it sort of depends with Yojimbo. Right, alright, so I'll just go with that. Comrade's the most consistent overdrive mode for those, I find. So, yeah. So that's all the arena creations done. Onto the Dark Aeons. So we'll be done in just over 60 hours. It'll be about 61, 62, I would think, by the time we've got everything sorted. So we're going to go through all of these in order. Order. Valfor first. Now the first few, again, they're only a challenge if you do them before you do the whole stat maxing process, because otherwise they're just phenomenally stupidly easy. So and Valfor is very challenging before you do stat maxing though. If you're really struggling to beat her and she's locking you out of Besaid to be able to get Anima and everything else, provided that you've already got the Macalania treasure, because there's no point if you have to try and beat Shiva as well, because she's much tougher. But if it's just Dark Valfor you need to beat, then you can either Zanmato her, just save and reload until you Zanmato her, or you can try and raise your strength and then just use overdrives. So if you can beat One Eye, then you can get the triple AP weapons, and then you can beat Juggernaut and blah blah blah. But the other relatively simple way is just to have one of your characters have over 9,999 HP, which they will already if they've completed most of the sphere grid, because there's a substantial amount of HP on the sphere grid. Is this one the hints for God Hand? Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember. I'm not going that way. Yeah, so you can beat Dark Valfor by having something like break HP limit auto Phoenix, and then just keep that character's health above 9,999, because Dark Valfor can't actually do more than that. So that character will always stay alive if they're over 10,000 health and be able to auto Phoenix the other two. It's a nasty place to put the Dark Aeon though, especially because Besaid's right at the start, so if you mess something up, you know, which is very easy to do if you miss the treasure in particular, so you can't get Anima. It's a bit harsh that Dark Valfor locks you out of her, because Anima's so useful, and you need her to get the Mage Sisters, which you need to be able to do. You can't, it locks you out of getting Nirvana from being fully powered up, it locks you out of a ton of stuff, so very annoying. Anyway, Dark Valfor is rubbish when you're this strong, so it really doesn't matter at all. Knock her about. She's only got 800k health. She's easier than most of the species creations. I haven't been counting how many that is. Let's just see her overdrive, shall we? Why not? Because Energy Blast is cool. And she looks cool as well. But anyway, you can very easily just quick hit her 9 times and that'll take her out. I think that was probably 9 hits already, but just to be on the super safe side. And that is why that's a big chunk of damage. So as you can see, yeah, it was. Oh well, never mind. Her overdrive is the only thing that you can get hit by over 9,999 for. So if you have a character with break HP limit and with auto Phoenix, then you'll survive every round apart from when she has overdrive, and you can just have auto life for that. Or just summon an Aeon for it, any of that. Stay. Yeah. Everything, nice bit of reused dialogue there. Anyway, off he goes, that's that one. Now you can get Auron's last sphere here, if you've got the rest of them. Which will get you Tornado if you have all 10. But I don't have Tornado because I haven't gone around getting the rest of them yet, because we're not using Auron in this playthrough really, so no need. So, next up, Dark Ifrit. Do them all in order.
You're counting.
And Dark Ifrit resides in Beaconell. Yeehaw! Here we go. So this is why you need an encounter none as well, is preferable. Because you've got a bit of running to do. And otherwise you're going to have a lot of very annoying pointless fights. So Dark Ifrit count as everything, which can be a little bit frustrating, but not enormously. Not a big problem. Just got to run through the desert. We've already done all the capturing and all that stuff many hours ago. So as I was saying, on this playthrough, because I've got Yuna, I took the time to level up Yuna and raise the evasion a little bit for Dark Ixion, which is not strictly speaking necessary. You can do it anyway, it just makes the fight more annoying. Raised Yuna stats to raise the Aeon stats, and also farm 255 magic, which takes a little bit of time, especially because if you watch that episode, I got a ton of dark matters, which is like one of the worst grinds to get dark matters on. So yeah, I've been fine with some things, a little bit unlucky with others, and they're still only just approaching 60 hours, which is extremely quick for having done the majority of the endgame content and be strong enough to beat all of the Dark Aeons and Penance, which we already are. And then we'll have to go through the harder Dark Aeons. So we've got Ifrit next, who's a piece of cake. Then we've got Ixion, who's also a piece of cake. Then we've got Shiva, who's the toughest of the easy ones, but still easy. And then after that, well, after that it does start getting a bit fun. Who are we looking for? We're looking for some non-existent child, apparently. We'll see. Do we think there's a child, ladies and gentlemen? I'll tell you what, we blimmin' don't. That's not a child, it's a Dark Aeon. Dark Ifrit looks cool. I love the red bits on his thing. All the Dark Aeons look pretty cool, to be honest. I will check over here. Yeah, alright then. Bit dim, really. This is why when you're doing capturing in Beacon Hill, obviously you stay well away from all this. So this suspicious looking Albed person isn't actually Albed at all. It's a Dark Yevonite summoner dude, person, whatever these things are called. Whatever this person is. How do they even see anything? It makes no sense. Yeah, whatever. Awesome music. And there's Dark Ifrit. Whoa! Now again, you could overdrive if you wanted, but I don't really see the need, so... Dark Ifrit fight takes very marginally longer because, as you can see there, counters every hit, which is annoying. But you can normally survive 2 depending on the rules and auto protect and everything else. Now, you would normally be doing less damage because your Celestials do less damage when the characters are at lower health with these 3 characters. But it really doesn't matter because we've got high enough luck that we just critical hit everything anyway. Because our luck is so much higher than his, so it doesn't really matter. Ow! So again, if you want to make this quicker, then you can, of course, just use overdrives. But there's no great need. And his overdrive gauge builds very slowly as well. So he dies well before he gets Hellfire. Just sitting through the Phoenix Down animations really because of his counters, but that's pretty much it. And there he goes. Again, very challenging if you don't have the correct setup, but auto Phoenix and making sure you never take the full overdrive, or that you have auto life when you do, means that you should be able to take Dark Ifrit out quite easily. Uh-oh! Ouchville, population new, bro. Smashed. Okay, so another one bites the dust. Now we have Ixion, and then as I said before, we have Shiva. Where's the nearest save point? I know there's one about somewhere. I just forget where. So, there's Ifrit gone. We just need to get back to the airship. Next port of call is the Thunder Plains for Ixion. Now Ixion has two sections to the Ixion fight. The first one, it cannot use its full overdrive, it only uses Thor's hammer. So nothing to be afraid of there. And that one is the fight where it can counter, but that is why it's important to have your luck as being basically above 290 in total for your luck and evasion. So for myself, I prefer having 114, 115 luck, and that's what we're going to do here. Now to that end, we have just got the Master Spheres as well, and as you can see, Riku is still too shy of being 114 luck because she's not activated 2 of the luck spheres, but you can just do that with the Master Spheres, which is very convenient. So we just got to find the missing luck 4s and then use the Master Spheres for those. So just remember, normally when you're looking for the number of Fortune Spheres that you need, you do have the option of using those 10 Master Spheres, so you can always do that. Now we just need to find where Dark Ixion is, and like I say, because everybody's luck and evasion should total over 290. Yep, 14 and 77, that's 90. We should be fine. Now, which plane is this person on? I think they might be on the second plane actually, but we'll see. I can't remember. Find out soon enough. Yeah, they are. Dagnammit. Never mind. There's the crater where you do the lightning dodge trick. Okay, let's go back. So yeah, in the first form, Ixion, you don't have to worry about, as long as you got Auto Phoenix, you're pretty golden. Because it can't hurt you. It's been a while since I fought the Dark Aeons. I'm 99% sure that's true. I might just use Auto Life to be on the safe side, but doesn't really matter. So the reason its counter is such a pain in the neck is because you can actually survive it if you have 255 defense, which you'd want for the rest of the Dark Aeons, pretty much. But if you have 255 defense and you survive it, then your character doesn't die or get revived by Auto Phoenix, and it actually puts you to sleep, that counter, if it hits you, unless you have ribbon. So that's why it's a better idea to just avoid it entirely. We've got this goofy running dude. And then the big lightning horse is going to come and try and lay the smack down.
Something up there?
Certainly is.
Let's go.
Kimahri's not happy. Ruh-roh. Scary Thunder Unicorn. Don't you blitzball me, you mep wannabe. Uh-oh. Wow. Dark Aeons look kind of badass, to be honest, but... So yeah, every hit here, it'll try and counter. Steal stamina tablets from it if you wish. It can be customized at Killiker onto armor to make you a good chunk of profit. Not really necessary though. We're just going to quick hit this thing into oblivion. As you can see, with that 290 evasion, you're able to 290 total luck and evasion. You're able to avoid the counter. I think it has 1.1 million per fight, so it's probably going down soon, yeah. There you go. It's got 1.1 million in both fights, I think, if I recall. And in the second fight, you easily have time to take it down before it gets its overdrive up, so it's not a problem. Got Impervious there, which is a ribbon armor for Riku, that's kind of cool. Although it probably has lightning proof on it, which is lightning eater on it, which is why they're such a waste, the ones that you normally get from the Dark Aeons. Certainly most of them anyway. Well. Try and find where Ixion is now. Just touch that to heal at Waka. Come on, you ugly thing. Take two. See, this is an infinitely quicker fight because you don't have to worry about counters or anything like that. It won't get overdrive in time for the first turn. Which means that it gets one normal attack, then it gets missed, and then it'll be dead by the time it gets its overdrive. So you don't have to worry about that. Before he even got back to his place, he was knocked out. Get wrecked. Another one bites the dust. Dark Matter and a break HP limit armor there for Waka, I believe. Then we move on to the real fun, the ones that are actually difficult, and take some tactics and a bit of skill. Even if you do have high stats. Although with such high stats and already knowing the techniques, I should be alright, I hope. Unless I forget something. That Yojimbo's not too bad, as long as you don't mess about with him on the last fight when he can get Zanmato a little quicker. And who else is there? Dark Bahamut is a pain in the neck. You have to be very careful with Dark Bahamut and then Dispel with Impulse and everything else. Unless you're just going to use the super boring counter method, which I never do. Although it probably would be less hassle, to be honest, but never mind. So yeah, Dark Bahamut's a bit of a pain. And then Dark Anima is an absolute monster. You need to be careful with her. Very careful with her. She's very powerful. And then the Dark Major Sisters together again. You have to be very mindful of their first turn and their attacks. Be very careful with that. Does Yuna still have overdrive? Yeah. Okay. Shouldn't need it for this battle, but you never know. Hey guys, can we just like visit the temple? You know, we're just here to say hey.
Fool! To come back to Makalania Temple, a traitor! Traitor! Find your salvation on the far plane!
Roll. So Shiva's actually pretty cool. She has reasonable look. She has evasion. She has very high agility. But she also, on her overdrive, builds pretty damn quickly as well. But everything else, she has low health, and as long as you can hit her, you're generally okay. So because we're able to get in a good chunk of strikes there, get that sorted. Now I could attack Realza here, or I could summon an Aeon, or I could just auto life it. We'll summon an Aeon. That way I don't have to get yeah, that way I don't have to get the overdrive gauge filled up with Riku again. If I want it for Bahamut or Yojimbo, whichever I choose to do next. Well, that's no fun. Diamond Dust is actually shockingly powerful. Even if you've got break HP limit and 99k HP, you can survive it, but it does like 80,000 damage or something mad. Which is weird because Mega Flare only does like 40k from Dark Bahamut. And Oblivion does 80k, but Oblivion also takes all your MP from Dark Ammo, which is pretty brutal. And on top of that, Mega Flare does like massive delay to your characters and casts slow, I think, and some other stuff, so that's quite nasty. Yeah, so good job that I took that hit there because she was still 2 hits away from death. But otherwise, very easy. Okay, so we've got Dark Yojimbo next. You gotta do these irritating fights on the way out, which are a complete waste of time. You just kick the Dark Aeon's ass. Seriously. And now they're sending these things after you. This is such a pointless part of the game. I don't get it. Like, it makes even less sense than the rest of it. Whatever. One of Riku's quite cool overdrives that you never get to use, so I'm just going to use it anyway. Underdog Secret and a Gambler's Spirit. Just because she has triple overdrive and might as well. I just wanted to use that because it's cool. So I just said about not wanting to do that, but never mind. On we go. I think Blitzball should be a much better overdrive. Like the main sword dealing protagonist character's overdrive in 7 and 8 is amazing. I don't know what it's like in 9 because I never played 9, but like Lionheart on Renzo Koken and Omnislash especially are just absolutely amazing, and they both look awesome as well. Whereas Blitzace is like, all right, but it's not even that damaging. Like Slice and Dice is better a lot of the time. Bizarre. Took me longer to find that Petrify Grenade than it would have just hit attack 3 times, but never mind. It felt like shattering something. Cool. That's Shiva down. so we can either do Yojimbo next or Bahamut. I think I will do Yojimbo first, maybe? Yeah, why not? So what, 91 Phoenix Downs, well in time there.
You're counting.
They're all actually fairly near each other, these ones. That Yojimbo's at the Cabin of the Stolen Faith, and then Anima is at Mount Gargazet, and then Bahamut is at Zanakan, so you can use those teleport pads, or you can just, you know, use the airship to go there, or whatever else, so do it whichever way you like. It's about as quick to run the Chocobo along the across the Calmlands as it is to go to Gargazet and then run down to the Sunken Cave, so do that whichever way you wish. Now that I've beaten the easy Dark Aeons as well, I will make a separate save. Might as well. Right, so there are two ways of doing this. You can either use your normal armors against Dark Yojimbo and make sure that Riku has Ultra Null All as her first move. So you need somebody else with First Strike and then use Ultra Null All with them. Or you can just use these different armors, which is what I'm going to do. So we have got enough defense with the defense plus... you need these armors for penance already, so... there's a good bit of overlap there. So auto haste, auto potion, auto protect, and defense plus 20%. And as long as you've only got X potions, which should be the only type of potions we've got, because we sold the high potions and things of that nature. So we've got 95 X potions there, and that should be enough for beating Dark Yojimbo. Make another save file before I forget. So what we've got is we've got the three characters with First Strike, and Lulu's has initiative as well, but Dark Yojimbo is very rude and actually ignores that. So he ignores initiative. The first fight he will always get that full. He'll always get that full ambush, and there's nothing you can do about it. So if you have First Strike, you can just take him out instead. And something I didn't know, but I actually found out from Dan's Go 8's awesome videos about the P-Birdman info, is that his overdrive builds progressively quicker each of the 5 fights, so it's pretty cool. Yojimbo! You can actually farm him for Dark Matters if you so wish, but I don't wish, so that's alright. How many Dark Matters have we got? We have got 74. I could do it, but I'm not going to. Right, so let's have a look. Everybody got their overdrive sorted? Yeah, that should be alright. Now, assuming I've remembered this correctly, because again, it's been a while, should be okay here, so... Quick hit in. Might as well attack reels here, because he'll be getting hit in, and he may Wakizashi, which would refill my overdrive with Comrade, or largely refill it. Yeah, so the idea behind the using this penance armor against Dark Yojimbo is that the characters should survive the Wakizashi All that he can use as a normal attack, and then heal themselves up with the X potions. If he uses Kozuka instead, then that's not a problem, because although it inflicts the break, you can just get rid of that afterwards. Now bear in mind that using this armor set, you don't have stone proof, because we're using this other armor, so you would have to dispel or risk the character being shattered. Now, even if the character gets shattered, you don't automatically lose, but if Daigoro attacks the character who Kazuka attacked, then it would get... As you can see there, because we've got X potions, we're okay. Just use life. And down he goes. Nice and quick, nice and easy. I believe that's a ribbon armor for Waka shut out. Now if you want to defeat Dark Yojimbo properly, as in fully and for good, then you need to be beating him all 5 times. So you have to go and seek out the optional encounter in the green room. If you're just farming him, it's better to just ignore the green room encounter and do the other 4. And the reason that's better than doing the green room one and then ignoring the last fight is because basically, let me just do this. I'm just seeing if there's anything I need to concentrate on, but there isn't. Is because it's quicker to just do the 4 and then the last one walk to the back of the cavern, so that's why it's quicker. So Kozuka inflicts the breaks. Should be alright. And because it knocked Tidus below half health that time, he healed himself up, so... That's interesting, because he dodged that attack, but Tidus has 114 luck. How bizarre. And he doesn't have any evasion, as far as I remember. Anyway, you'll very, very, very rarely miss him. I didn't even know that was possible. I'll have to look into that afterwards. I would have thought 114 was the number you had to hit. You can also get break HP weapons from Yojimbo, which is pretty cool. Just make sure we're all fully healed up. So this is the optional encounter if you're wanting to properly defeat Dark Yojimbo. He's just looking for a brief respite. Get out of it. In these fights where he doesn't get the ambush at the start, you can actually just beat him with quick hit pretty much all the time, because it doesn't matter what combination of attacks he does. If he does Kozuka, even if he does Kozuka and then Daigoro and shatters your character, the other 2 can still take him out in time before he gets Zanmato. You just miss out on the AP, which at this point in the game is not a concern, so easy enough. This is why I actually think that Dark Yojimbo is a lot easier than Dark Bahamut, even though he's technically a lot harder. See, Tidus misses again, that's weird. Right, so Daigoro turns the character to stone, but it doesn't matter because he's going to die anyway. And because her defense was high enough, Riku's defense was high enough with auto protect, it didn't shatter the character, so you could have revived her if needed. It's not a problem. Oh, poor Reeks. Alright, just make sure we're fully healed up. And make that mistake. Go on to the 4th fight. Same again. Not a lot to say here really, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. So Kazuka, if it hits Tidus, will kill him, but then I'll just finish off with the other two characters. They don't have Auto Phoenix, but it's not necessary because he's almost dead anyway, so there we go. Taken down, same as always. Now we just have the 5th fight, and this is the one where you do have to be a little careful because his overdrive builds much quicker, and Zanmato, when Dark Yojimbo does it, dispels auto life, so you can't just cast auto life or use Hyper Mighty G and think you're alright. You will die. You will die, man. Proper style. So let's have a quick look. If you want to make this fight even easier, you can go back to your first strike weapons again. Not because you'll get ambushed, but just because it'll give you more turns and more time to avoid Zanmato. So how this one's not an ambush, I have no idea, since how he like actually ambushes you. Peekaboo, I see you. Surprise, motherfucker! Yeah, alright. That Yojimbo's so cool. It looks so cool. So you can see there when you sub him in, you get all the extra turns. This is what we'll be doing against Dark Bahamut as well. And especially Dark Anima also. Right. So we get a bunch of turns in there. Might as well use the overdrives because I'm going to use attack reels, so when I put Victor Overdrive back on, go and stock up X potions by going to the monster arena. I will use Victor Overdrive and a couple of quick fights to get that back for the start of the Bahamut fight. So, down goes Dark Yoj after he gets one turn, I think. Because of the extra first strike, he'll get this turn, and then we'll take him down after that. May get 2 turns, but I sort of doubt it. Oh no, he may get 2 turns actually, looking at it. Ah no, there we go. Easy. So there goes Dark Yoj. Nice. So Dark Yojimbo's not actually that difficult really. As long as you have the correct tactics. Right, I'll keep that one as my one before the Dark Aeons, and I'll keep this one as my one before Penance. So I like to have it where you've got all of the Dark Aeons available, and then a save where the easy ones have been defeated, because there's not really a lot to them. And then one after all of them have been defeated, where you can just fight Penance. Although the Penance fight is so boring, to be perfectly honest. Unless you wanted to try and do it properly, without killing the arms, in which case it's insanely difficult. And you need incredibly specific tactics and break HP weapons that you've customized to survive Judgment Day and have a turn to use alchemy, auto life, and all kinds of stuff. Crazy. Right, so the reason I'm just going back here is we used some X potions there, and we want to get those back. Just change our armors back because we need stone proof for Dark Bahamut. Okay, so we're just going to get the overdrive gauges filled again. Massive overkill, but we don't need the money at this point, so it doesn't matter. Needed 12 and I got 46. Never mind. Play Blitzball. Well, I could. Right, let's just get Dark Bahamut sorted.
You're counting on me.
I actually have a bunch of different tactics for Dark Bahamut. Things that I do very slightly differently.
Here we go.
But it depends on whether you've leveled up Yuna or not. If you've leveled up Yuna so the Dark Aeons have really high stats, so that your Aeons have really high stats, beg your pardon, then they will be able to take a hit of Impulse and then still take Mega Flare and do an attack to hit him. To hit Dark Bahamut, because he counters every 5th turn with Impulse, which needs the full break dispelling if it hits your characters. But if you can get him to waste that on an Aeon, then it works out better. But it's sometimes a bit irritating to time, so... Right. I think what may be a little better to do is for me to actually save it here, call it a day for this episode, and then what we'll do is we'll start off with the Dark Bahamut fight next time. So we're just going to make sure that we've got everything set up. We've already put all these items that we'll need for the useful mixes, and then we're just going to make sure that we've got our first strike characters all in place. So first strike and initiative, first strike, and then we'll sub these guys in afterwards. And Yuna is there with auto haste and stoneproof as well, ready to summon the Aeons who will be taking the hits from Mega Flare. So if you've been watching and enjoying, then please subscribe and everything else. Thank you very much. If you're watching back on YouTube afterwards, then please subscribe there as well, and like, comment and sub for more information and content. So we'll be back very shortly with Bahamut, and thank you all for watching.